My cheese before bed stream. A very happy Sunday night to you all. If we've not met before, a big welcome. And if you've been following for a while, thanks for coming back. What an absolutely fantastic weekend we've all had. Grab a drink. Hopefully, you've already done that. Get comfortable. Hopefully, you're already comfortable. And get into the live chat. Need you to do that. Get into the live chat because there's no better feeling than firing up a Sunday night stream when Southampton Football Club have just banked another 3 points on the road. The mood around the club right now is absolutely brilliant, and the playoff charge is well and truly on. Tonight, we're going to break it all down. So, if I've got any microphone issues or visual issues, please also shout out and let me know. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you so much for coming in from the other stream. Wow, we've got stuff going on already from the Saints Network. You guys are absolute legends. Thank you. You may have been sent over from Liam and Ash. I'll get onto them in a minute and their shop. But before we get into the tactics and the wrap up, I just want to take a second to talk about the Saints YouTube community. So as I say, a big shout out to the guys over at the Total Saints podcast. Their show is very, very technical and it's very enjoyable. And then tonight, the absolutely incredible Liam and Ash at the Saints Network. Their show is absolutely fantastic, a quality couple of blokes. And as they said, I spent a bit of time there the other day having a coffee and a good chat about the show and everything Southampton. And you know what they're building is just wonderful. Their Discord is great. Everyone's in there having a good old chat. They're just great guys, and I really appreciate helping each other out. So yeah, nice one, guys. If you're watching their streams earlier, you know that they do such a good job. We are really lucky to have such brilliant, dedicated creators around this club, and that includes people like Football Martin, of course, and Jack and Mike. Through the massive highs and the absolute lows that we go through as Saints fans, we stick together. So make sure you're supporting them, and a massive, massive thank you to you all who have already been tuning into my videos recently and offering your support. You guys are incredible, and the channel is growing again really, really fast. So a quick bit of admin before we get to the football. If you're enjoying the vibes and you like these videos, do hit subscribe, especially if you're new and you haven't already. Make sure you drop a like on the stream. It really, really does help. It takes 2 seconds. It's completely free. Honestly, it's the best way to support me and get this video pushed out to more Saints fans in the YouTube algorithm. If you want to take it a step further, there is a channel membership option. You can join the Cheese Army for $1.99 a month. If you break that down, it's like 6p a day. It goes such a long way towards helping me upgrade the equipment and put these videos together for you. Right, so we've got that out of the way. Speaking of putting videos together, by the way, you may have noticed I've been doing a lot more content recently. I've explained a few reasons behind that. Being a part of a special YouTube creator course that they've invited me to is one of them reasons. But beyond the standard match day vlogs that I do, I've been doing like press conference reactions, match reviews, and whatever kind of else takes my fancy at the moment. But at the moment, it's live streams that they really, really want. So I'm going to be keeping that up this week. I've got like 3 months that I have to do of madness, and I'm going to be pushing out even more live streams. So going forward, especially next Sunday, I'm going to be doing another live around 9:15 or straight after Liam and Ash finish their show. I don't want to miss a second of theirs. I'm like a admin sort of moderator on their account as well, so I want to make sure that you're all behaving. So of course I'll let them wrap up. And then we'll keep the party going over here. It's not going to be as good as a party because they're fantastic. The way that they play off each other is really good, and there's some great brother sister dynamics there, or whatever you want to call it. Throughout the week, I might jump on slightly earlier than that, around 9 p.m. on some nights. But what I will do is from now I'll start posting a proper full week schedule, maybe tomorrow or Tuesday, and that'll be in the community tab on YouTube, just to help everybody know when I am going live. And I haven't been posting that recently because I've just been trying to get used to the software and having some framework around the live streams. So I'll be letting everybody know when I am live. So just looking through some of the comments from you. Yeah, we've got the usual folks in here. Thank you so much, guys. Brilliant. You're in the Cheese Army, Cameron. That is fantastic. Um, the Cheese Army, the way that we're doing it, I do have my own Discord and things like that, but it's not going to be too much chat in there. But I'm always after feedback from everyone. So if you do have some, give it to me. If you want to see something in the vlogs, let me know and I'll go ahead and do it. So hopefully between everything the other creators are doing, the extra streams that I'm doing here, we're keeping you amazing people completely up to date on every single thing happening at Southampton Football Club, which we know that sometimes that information doesn't come out too much. So moving onwards then. Obviously, listening to the Saints Network boys earlier, they made some absolutely brilliant points about where we are right now. So I've done a few game reviews already, so I'm not going to go in depth. And if you've been at YouTube all night long, you don't want to be hearing the same kind of information. I think we're perfectly aligned. I think a lot of us in how we feel about how the team's performing and what's going on. So what I'm going to do is just wrap up on a Sunday night, and so let's just look at what we achieved in the last few days. Tuesday night, obviously, we smashed QPR 5-0 at St Mary's. I was there. If you're interested, I do have a vlog out. My vlogs are a little bit different from my live streams. Usually they involve a few more beers. It's a Sunday night, so not happening right now. So yeah, we demolished them 5-0 at St Mary's. Then we followed it up yesterday with a really solid professional 3-1 win at Sheffield Wednesday. It's a brilliant time to be looking at the championship table. Although we didn't move from that win yesterday, we have kept ourselves in the game. You know, anything different, and we might have struggled if, unfortunately, Wrexham got them points, but, you know, can't control that. So speaking of yesterday, I covered some of the main points in my review video as well. But I will bring a little bit, I will bring like this hot mic thing up in the live chat in case you haven't heard it. So yeah, the live mic thing, I haven't seen it confirmed anywhere else yet. But did any of you catch what happened at the very end of the Sky Sports broadcast if you were watching it on a stream? A clip was shared around on social media of the presenters laughing at Tonda Eckert after his post-match interview. It was really strange. Now, I could have the wrong end of the stick here, and maybe it was a misunderstanding because I don't want to be unfair to anyone, but it sounded pretty disrespectful to me. Let me know in the chat if you did see it and what you made of it. I know Cam said in a message that you did see it, but you couldn't quite hear what he said. But certainly they were laughing at Tonda Eckert saying, it was more of a giggle about Tonda Eckert saying, get our head down and keep working. And I think he was totally right to do so. So back to the actual football though, because a couple of individuals I think need a lot of praise tonight. First up, Ryan Manning. A lot of people give him a lot of stick. I think he's been absolutely great recently. He's been doing a fantastic job for us. Just when we thought Wellington was, you know, in taking control of everything, Manning's come back in and popping up with that free kick yet again yesterday. His dead balls have been absolutely fantastic. And what about Matsuki coming into the side? He has been immense. One absolute ball of energy he's been in the middle of the park. He just does not stop running, and he does exactly what we need. Now, he's not perfect, but as I say, the energy that he's been bringing to the team and putting himself about, getting a header, you know, for a smaller guy is absolutely fantastic. So yeah, that was just brilliant. I am loving Matsuki. I think they're just wonderful people, and I was really surprised that he didn't get the games because when I saw him earlier in the season, I just thought, what a player. You know, he whipped shooting from the outside of the box, whipping in lovely little crosses, and it was strange, but obviously Tom Fellows was fantastic for us as well. So looking at the league in general and our overall form, I feel like we have to talk about the tactics a little bit. We have done really, really well with playing a flat back four, and now I know the big argument among the fan base for a long time was that playing in a back five or a back three was the root of all our problems. But we really must remember something important. We won 5 games on the bounce when Tonda first came in, using that exact formation, 3-3 or 5. It worked beautifully at first. But the problem, really, in my opinion, wasn't the setup itself. The problem that we had was that we were eventually found out by the rest of the league, and we didn't change our style. That lack of adaptability was mine, and I think a lot of the fans' biggest issue. We were too rigid, and we have had that transition again now, and so that flexibility, I think that he's shown has been good. So look at us now. Tonda recognised the problem, or we shouted it at him. He adapted. He switched to the back four, and suddenly you know, we look completely rejuvenated. That's a sign of a manager who is learning and growing with this squad. It was very difficult for a period, and there were a lot of grumblings around the club and a lot of my mates and everything. We were going right. Tonda's got to go, and you think that, but he has listened. He has listened. He's done well to make sure he's listened as well. It's very important that they do that, and I don't think that they always do that at the club. Listening to the fans is so important, and sooner that they realise about fan channels being real things, and fans now having a voice in the modern day, the better. Because it's going to make a difference for the club. You need to listen to people, and if you don't, people will walk. So anyway, bringing us on to next Sunday, we've got Fulham in the FA Cup. Now, as I say, a lot of the guys have covered it already. But the kind of big question in the chat and that is, what kind of team do we put out for it? Do we go full strength or do we rest the squad? Now, personally, I would be very happy putting out a team similar to what we did in the last cup game. I think we need a completely rotated starting 11 again and give the main lads a rest, although they just had that nice rest in between. But first of all, we need to keep Ross Stewart completely off the team sheet. We need to ensure his muscle issue that he's got is given a proper chance to sort it out. There's absolutely no point rushing him back for a cup game and risking the rest of his season. So if I was Tonda Eckert, apart from giving you all the eyeball, I would be starting. I'd probably be starting Long again. I think that's the most important one in there. Let's stick Long in goal. Then I think at the back, I'd have Laren starting with this one, and I'd keep Archer on the bench as a sub. I think the way Laren's come into the team, he's not been putting in the goals yet, really, but he has been doing a lot off the ball. Some of the runs he's been making have been very good. He's drawing the bigger defenders away, and he's also been playing the ball onto people. And what he's doing with it is fantastic. I would definitely be looking at starting Tom Fellows, I think, and a Dozy on the wings. And in the middle, I would probably start Shea Charles, Bragg, and maybe Oriol Romeo. Let's just maybe think about that. I think Charles could push up and maybe just stick Romeo right at the back in front of that defence. But yeah, I think they could do with a good run out. And at the back, I think the defence should be Nathan Wood. And yeah, I think we've got to go with Nathan Wood and what's his name? The other fella. Name slip. This is the problem here. Come on, put his name in the chat. Quashi, that's it. Josh Quashi. And maybe even step into the youth setup like we did in the second half of that game. So yeah, I mean, why not bring some of the youth guys in and give them a start? Let them get a taste of it against Premier League opposition. Now, I think that would be great for them. Fulham's going to be an absolutely tough game. I think it'll be a real big test for whatever team we put out. But I'm going to say something controversial. Um, I would actually rather that we didn't progress in the cup. Now, hear me out. Let me explain. It's not because I don't want to see us win. Of course, I do. But if we beat Fulham, it will completely mess up our Easter weekend schedule. And those are, massive league games to start with. Um, but, they're also beer days. We've got Easter Friday. So the FA Cup is scheduled for the Saturday, the 4th of April. Excuse me. And if we're in it, our championship matches around that time will get rescheduled. Right now, we're set to play Ipswich on home on Good Friday, and Wrexham is on the Easter Monday. And that Wrexham game would be absolutely perfect away day for us fans. Um, having it on a Monday when you're off, just that travel time makes all the difference. And I really don't want those games to be moved to a random Tuesday night, if I'm honest. Plus, if we get through, we'll probably draw Liverpool away. Let's be honest, no one wants to go to Liverpool right now. Right. So yeah, just a quick look at some of your comments. James Bree is a bigger reason the back four is working. Yeah, absolutely. Bree is immense, absolutely immense. The way he's come into that team. Rest and just get rid of it out. Yep, good. Peretz, Bree, Harwood, Bellis, Quashi. That's a big team there, Cam. Big team that you're popping in. So you're going full out, mate. So finally, before I hand it over to you guys in chat, and I'll just read back through some of the comments. Just want to talk about what it's like as a fan at St Mary's recently. Returning to St Mary's during this recent run for me has been incredible. There's been times this season where the atmosphere was toxic, and obviously last season it was absolutely toxic, and the football was tough to watch, and we were all frustrated. And for me, doing these videos and doing the vlogs, watching your team get hammered, watching the players not even turn up and put in an effort, for me it was soul destroying. And then literally you go home and you spend another 3, 4, 5 hours editing a video and uploading it. You're just reliving it. And but go in there now knowing that we're 9 games unbeaten. I think it is 8 or 9 games unbeaten. The belief is back. It really is back. And the connection between the fans and the players is back. I'm really seeing that. I'm seeing it after the matches. They're not getting pelters. They're not getting booed. The players are coming around. Even Harwood Bellis, they're there in front, and it looks like pride again. It genuinely feels like a completely different club right now, and I'm loving every single second of it. So, right, I think that's enough for me for a Sunday night for this first one. I'm not going to do like a super long one. As I say, I just want to wrap up. I will ask you to go and have a look into my other videos if you've not seen them. I know a lot of you will have. Just have a look, and please, honestly, give me the feedback. I want to hear from you lot. All right. In fact, you know what? I have got a little section that I was going to talk about. And I wasn't sure, but if you guys got time, let me know. If you haven't got time, but I think I will, because of the atmosphere at home. We know like the away support in the Championship is almost always fantastic. The teams, they bring their hardcore fans and they make a racket and they try to take over our ground. Whilst the feeling at the club is great, especially during this 9-game unbeaten run, we are starting to see the home support and drown the crowds out. But a massive part of that, I think, is the Northern stand making the home fan section, red and white wall. It's been brilliant. It holds like over 7,000 standing home fans now, and I think it's genuinely been the heartbeat of the stadium. The noise coming from there is fantastic, but we have to talk about the flip side of that stadium reshuffle, in my opinion, because the club, they've moved the away fans over, to the Chapel Kingsland corner, and it has been a bit of a weird dynamic. It really sucks that we're seeing so many empty seats now, sometimes directly around the away supporters. And that was especially noticeable to me on Tuesday night because I sit right opposite that end, so I'm literally opposite, so I can see both sections. The away end is tucked in that corner, and the seats immediately buffering them are, for the most part, pretty quiet or empty. Now, I'm not trash talking those of you that do sit in the Kingsland or the Chapel stands. I know that you're passionate. I know that you love the club, but I've got to be honest, from where the rest of the stadium is sitting, it's just really hard to hear them guys sometimes. So while the Northern stand, I think, is doing pretty incredible right now, being completely separated from the away fans means that we're not really affecting them that much. I think we've lost that direct face-to-face banter that used to make the Northern stand pretty intimidating when the away fans shared it. Because of that, I've got a prediction from next season. When the away, when the club was first consulting fans about moving the away end to the Chapel corner, a lot of people warned that this would happen. I honestly think that next season that we're going to see a bit of a migration. I reckon a good chunk of the fans sitting up behind me to the right, in the Northern, are going to move their season tickets over to the Chapel stand. I think they're going to want to sit right next to them away section again, and they want that back and forth banter because at the moment they're just giving crap to each other. I think they want to wind up the opposition fans, and make sure the away end doesn't get a moment's peace because at the moment they do. If that happens, we'll get the Chapel rocking alongside the Northern, hopefully, and St Mary's will be an absolute fortress. Just reading through the comment, Cam, you like the away fans that are there. It keeps them off TV. I think it should have gone to Kingsland next to Northern. Yeah, I agree. That is a good point about keeping them off TV so much. I do like sitting in the Kingsland and Itchen. They are nice seats. I used to sit on the Kingsland. I sat in the Kingsland for 4 or 5 years. Bang centre, absolutely beautiful seats. But sometimes I would get up and yell, and people would get a bit grumpy around me. And I know it's related to how much you end up paying. But at the same time, I think that the away fans need a bit of stick. What have we said there? Will Morris. It's because we had Pompey this season and we weren't going to put them next to the Northern end. Well, I mean, we moved last season. Will, we moved last season. But I like the atmosphere around the club right now. Oh, there's also a little bit of other news at the club. Because there's a lot, I know that there's a lot to get through. The manager of the month thing. We've just gone 9 games unbeaten, unless I've got that wrong. I think we've taken maximum points this week, scored 8, conceded 1. If Tonda Eckert isn't nominated, and frankly, if he doesn't win it outright, then the entire system is rigged. What has the guy got to do? What's he done since taking over from Will Still it's nothing short of miraculous, really. He has completely stabilised a rocky dressing room, fixed our tactical issues, and he's had us playing probably some of the best football in the Championship. And I know, guys, that the quality in the Championship hasn't been fantastic this season, but who's actually competing with him for that award right now? Let me know in the chat who you think should get it, because for me, I think it's got to be nailed on. Cam, I hope he doesn't get that cursed trophy. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and Flynn Downs, obviously. That bit of controversy that's been flying under the radar is the refereeing. As we mentioned earlier, Flynn Downs was rested against Sheffield Wednesday because he's on that suspension tightrope sort of thing. One more yellow card, and he misses that massive game against Coventry, I believe. I think that's right. But if we can just take a second to talk about how soft some of them bookings have been lately. The standard of the Championship refereeing has been a bit of a joke. Downs plays up to an aggressive enforcer style. He's supposed to win the ball. Half the time he gets booked, it feels like the referee's just reacting to the crowd. And other times players don't get booked for clattering Leo. I mean, we need Flynn Downs to just survive these next few weeks without picking up that final yellow. Oh yeah, and the Ross Stewart situation. While I'm thinking about it, that the muscle tightness that he's got. The club's calling it muscle tightness. Now, I think Tonda Eckert, he's come out and said his absence is precautionary. And I know some of the fans and podcasters, they've been getting a bit frustrated mocking his cautious spreadsheet approach to player minutes. But people get annoyed when Stewart's subbed off on the 60th minute and he looks absolutely fine. So what's he doing there? But we have to be honest with ourselves. Look at his injury history. The way his minutes were handled earlier in the season, this careful rotation by the sports science team is exactly what the player needs. If resting him against Wednesday means he's 100% fit for the final run in and the playoffs, then I'm actually going to back that. It's just up to Lauren and the rest of the attack to get in and get involved. So, and because we're now in March, while I'm thinking about the papers and the rumor mill are beginning to spin up regarding the transfers. So it's when you go on like a 9-game unbeaten run, the rest of the football world takes notice. We're already starting to see little whispers and Premier League clubs sniffing around for our key players, or allegedly, and that's the harsh reality of the Championship. If we don't secure the promotion this season, it's going to be incredibly difficult for us to hold players like Harwood Bellis, Ryan Manning, and the new powerhouse Matsuki or Matski. And that's why the stakes for this playoff rush are actually so high. We aren't just playing for promotion, we're playing to keep this squad together. Speaking about Matsuki, how's his mentality this week? After bagging the first goals for a club in that massive QPR win, he hasn't just rested on his laurels. He's come straight out and essentially said, "I want more." And Eckert has called him incredibly humble. He's set the training standard, really. His work ethic trickles all the way down and probably even into the youth squad. And speaking of the youth academy, just to wrap up sort of news, our under 21s have been putting in some serious shifts lately. And I think it's really brilliant to see the youth system now thriving again along the first team, because we did have that period where we weren't. And if we do end up rotating heavily against Fulham in the FA Cup, I really hope some of them academy lads get the call up. They've definitely earned the right to step into that path. Right, now that is it for me this week. I think I'm going to just pop into the comments again. If you've got anything you want to say, bring it up now or forever hold your peace. Thank you again to the Saints Network for donating 5 memberships. If anybody else would like to join as a member, please do. We've got a tier, as I say, for $1.99. But I'm not going to beg for money. That's not what I'm after right now. What I'm after is people popping into the other videos that I do and leaving comments and likes on them, just so that they get shared out. That's the big thing, as some of my best followers that we've got in this group can do. We've got Cams, we've got Alison, we've got Alan, we've got Mega. Looking up the things here, who else we've got? James Neat, yo. We've got some people that are here every time. We've also got the members. We've got Simon, we've got Rob, Tom, John, Tom, Dick, and Harry. But all of these things are that you do really do support the channels. So I know it sounds like everybody says it, But I'm telling you now, from somebody that knows YouTube inside out, I don't necessarily do the best videos or anything like that, but I know the systems, I know social media. These things are super important because it tells YouTube that people like it and that people want to see more, and let's share it to other people. So just looking in there, Kazi Saint, hello there. I sit in the chapel and we can't hear the northern wall. The away fans are deafening. We do chant along with the rest of the stadium, but the northern can't be heard from our end. That is madness because it's like absolutely deafening from where we are. Cam, I've requested a follow on Insta. Got some points to send you. Okay, Cam. Well, we have got my Discord, mate. If you want to reach out there, but I'm happy to do that. I don't really do Instagram too much, if I'm honest. But we have got my Discord, and the link is in the description below. And then you've got a private line to me there, mate. That's probably the best way, I think, is the Discord. Because obviously we've got to keep things out, and got to be careful what you're sending me as well. I know what you're like. So yeah, right, wrapping it up. I think thank you so much. I will be definitely back next Sunday night after the Saints Network finish, and throughout this week I've got to do more lives. So it'll probably be Tuesday, Thursday, and then Sunday night on the lives, and then I'll be doing a press conference reaction for Eckert, which will probably come out during Thursday or Friday. And then I might do one more video about something in the week, but we'll just have to see what's coming out from the club. But other than that, guys, thank you so much, and really appreciate you all. All right, so does the Jimmy Discord link does not work for me? Okay, I'll tell you what. Let me. It says it's expired or invalid. It probably is now in mine. Let me have a quick look here on Discord now, and I will get that sorted. Open Discord. Might as well do it now, eh? I'm not sure the link will come up if I put it into the chat. Let's have a look. Jimmy Cheese. And then I'm going to share this. And then we've got chat. And paste. Right, let's try this. There's a link there. That should get you to my Discord. Alison, stop putting yourself down, Jimmy. Your vlogs are great. Thank you, my good friend there. And so your embroidery. I really like that bag you did. In fact, I might have to get you to make one for my partner. Yeah, there you go, guys. Sorry about that link. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to end now because it is 9:49 on a Sunday night. I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning.